Please,
There's
yeah.
an Ahmad Jamal connection there.
Oh,
With
really?
Dave. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I was, and I just think this is just the universe and stars. So this is when I'm working at the phone company. I'm playing with a local gig. Ahmad Jamal's in town. He has a night off, and the bass player James Kamak
Mhm.
wants to see one of his favorite bassist, Dave Holland. Well, I was playing a local big band there. It's called the New England Conservatory Jazz Composers Alliance, and they would host many different artists for the week or couple of weeks or whatever, or maybe the month. I can't remember now.
Mhm.
But Dave Holland was one of the artists that they were hosting. Dave Holland, and they called me to play drums. I'm playing on the gig. James Kamak comes to the gig to see Dave Holland, but he makes a beeline and said, "Who the heck are you?" Ahmad Jamal's looking for a drummer, and I play with Ahmad Jamal. So I do that, and many years later, when did I? So after I moved to New York, um, Gene Jackson was playing with Herbie Hancock.
Mhm.
uh, Dave called me. He said he got my number from, I forgot. I think he got my number from Gene. And he said, Gene Jackson gave me your number. He said, Billy's great to sub. He said, Billy, why do I remember that name? And we're talking. And so I reminded him because, he's Dave Holland. I'm
Sure.
Holland. I'm just Billy Kilson, Keith Gilson, person that you can't even
Oh,
pronounce the
man.
last name. So, I said, hey, like a geek, I'm the guy that played drums with you on this Jazz Composer Alliance. You don't remember me? Um, and he said, "Yeah, I remember you. I remember you. I remember." So I subbed for Gene a few gigs. Gene's was his schedule or whatever. There was schedule conflicts with
Mhm.
Herbie, and which I would like to have had Herbie and Dave, and that's how we started working together.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, it's such a strong group. Also, you and Dave, you're both so
Oh man,
flexible when playing. Like around
well,
these structures.
the story behind that is what is something that I share with my students even today, and I probably will start that tomorrow. I'll keep repeating that.
Oh,
That
please.
the very So Dave, when he called me, when he asked me to officially join the band, he said we have a rehearsal, and I'm thinking cool, and I get to New York somewhere on the Upper West Side, well, maybe maybe Upper West Side of
Hmm.
Manhattan. There's a room, maybe not as big as this. This is like, I don't know, 12, no, was this 12, 16 by 20, very small room. And it had vibraphone. They had a set of vibraphones. They had a upright piano. But when I got there, Dave was there. And
Mm.
I'm thinking, cool. And he said, let's play a couple of tunes. We played a couple of standards. Half
Mm.
hour goes by, 45 minutes goes by, and no one shows up. And I'm not going to ask because I'm thinking, shit, man, I get to play with Dave Holland. This is cool. 2 hours goes by, and then Dave said, "Cool, man. Would you be up to doing this? Let's say today's Tuesday. Are you down? What are you doing Thursday?" And I mean, I'm sure I had something to do. I said nothing, man, because that wasn't important. And so I said, "Yeah, but cool. Just tell me what time." And I show up. So we did this for weeks on end, man. Just
Oh,
Dave and I
wow.
playing duets
Really? Oh,
and
man.
then Steve came. Then now we're playing this trio tunes. I mean, standards, softly, like Love for
Yeah.
Sale, A Train, just playing tunes. We're just playing tunes, man. I mean, run of the mill, basic tunes. We're on the bus. We're on the
Amazing.
bus in Europe. Maybe no, not that long. Maybe 2 or 3 years later, we're on a bus tour. Then I had the gumption, the guts, I guess, to ask Dave, can I ask you a question, man? What were those rehearsals about? What were those duet rehearsals about, man? And he said, it took you that long to ask me this. Um, he said, I wanted to check out your ride. I wanted to make sure I felt comfortable playing with your ride. And so a lot of times I will have the bass player and the drummer play together in the ensemble or in their lesson. I'll have the piano player and the drummer play together, the piano and the bass player. They just, even an ensemble, you guys got it. We should understand each other's interpretation of the language. Until that foundation until that's solid, nothing's going to happen. And I like to think all of the grooves, if you will, all of the pulse movement of the pulse rather, was all, that foundation was laid out years ago when Dave and I sat down to play, when we played Blue Bossa together.
Well, man. Oh, yeah, because then you play all these amazing structures and it's just, you're sailing through them, whether
the thing is, because
15 or 11 or whatever, it's like.
And what he was, I mean, of course he was a genius with that. And I'm not using that lightly. He was a genius because I knew, like you just said, I knew his movement. It didn't matter whether it was 15 or it was in 3. I knew that it was an innate feeling, like with a physical response, if you will, as well as being able to hear and have some idea where I could predict that he's going to land here, man. I know that for sure.
Yeah, that's how it's here sounds like. Yeah, when you're playing together, that's incredible. Yeah.
Sure.